actually gave me one of his blazers. I still have it till this day. It says custom made for SRK. But it was such an incredible day. I met his family, had lunch at his house. Mission is all about how do we change the way girls and women are treated around the world. Can you translate this Hindi word for us? We don't know what this Hindi word means. You know what the word was? Madhuri Dixit. My company gets pitch projects all the time that are this dating show where these two people date and it's a messy thing. And I'm like, really great conversation with Gagan Johar, who's on our wall. And I always love talking to him because I think Gagan is so open as a person that it's really lovely to have a conversation with him because he doesn't have a filter. For better or for worse, he has no filter. I think celebrities come with their talking points prepared and they know what they're going to say. And my goal is to take all those walls down.
Hi, and joining us on HT City, we have someone fun, fearless, and proudly shameless as well, Lilly Singh.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hi, and how has Mumbai been treating you?
Amazing. I've only been here for about 24, 36 hours, but I love it every single time. I'm so happy to be here.
We saw you zipping around in an auto.
Yes, it's my favorite thing to do. Everyone's always like, why don't you take a car? I love being in an auto rickshaw. That's my favorite place.
And you've been here before, so any stereotypes about Mumbai that you realized are true or not true at all?
That's a good question. I'm still learning, to be honest. Stereotypes that are true, people did tell me that it's hard to confirm things. They said, you know, it's very tension mat lao, things will happen, they haven't. That is true. As a control freak, that's been something I had to learn. But that aren't true, you know, I will say what comes along with the flexibility is this idea of jugaad. I will say that everything truly is figure-outable. And I always quote that even to my team in LA. I say, jugaad, make it happen. Pretend you're in Mumbai and make it happen. So I love that.
Jugaad is the ultimate.
100%. And I respect it. I respect it a lot.
Okay, you're getting there.
I'm learning the ways. I'm learning the ways. I swear I saw someone last trip I was here. Some light needed to be fixed. He put a 2x4 on a ladder. He climbed up there. He found a way with one finger. I was like, jugaad, they find a way. And I love it. And I love it.
And what's also interesting is you said you've grown up manifesting SRK energy.
Yes.
And the last time you were here, you were hosted at his home.
Yes. Not the last time, but yes, years ago, one of the greatest days of my life is being hosted at Mannat, for sure. Which is why I wore, when I landed in the airport 24 hours ago, I was wearing an SRK shirt as well, just to be like, best moment ever.
Yeah, as a fangirl, so what was that like, you know, because you've really made it?
Well, you know, it's funny, every time I come to Mumbai, and as we established, I love to go on an auto, and almost every single time I'm in a rickshaw, the rickshaw driver will say, madam, by the way, that's Shah Rukh Khan's house. And I was like, oh, really? Is it? And obviously, I don't tell them the whole story that I've been in his house and I've been hosted. But it was such an incredible day. I met his family, had lunch at his house. He actually gave me one of his blazers for my dad character I used to play on YouTube. And I still have it till this day. It says custom made for SRK. So
cool.
It's one of the coolest things ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as we know, you're here not just for fun, but for work as well.
Yeah.
So Shameless season 3. So how's that going and what do we expect?
It's going really well. So Shameless is my podcast interview series. It's on behalf of my charity Unicorn Island Fund. You know, our mission is all about how do we change the way girls and women are treated around the world. But we want to do it in a more fun way. I want to have conversations with notable guests that they've not had before. I think these people get interviewed a lot. I want to ask them questions they've never been asked before. I want to have deeper conversations that kind of make us think about, should we be raising kids differently? How can we think about parenting? How can we think about the way we treat the men and women and everyone in our life? Because I do think conversations and stories is how you impact culture, and I think culture is how we impact how we treat people. And I think we can all agree that the world could treat girls and women better than they currently do.
In fact, I wanted to ask you about the backdrop, which is so interesting.
Yes, this is our set. We have a great crew that made a set. These are some of our amazing guests from the previous season. And we just like to have like messaging that's positive and that kind of breaks barriers. The one behind me says your men can feel insecure, be bullied, be vulnerable, feel emotion. We're trying to normalize people being what's authentic to them, not the preconceived notions of what they think they're supposed to be. You know, we want boys to know that you can cry, you can go into the arts, you don't have to be the provider, you can have emotions. We want young girls to know that, hey, you don't have to be quiet and reserved. You can do what's right for you. And so this is our little set where we have some deep conversations.
Yeah. And what you've also been big on is South Asian representation. You know, that's something you've always spoken about. So how has that journey been and what have you kind of learned from that?
It's been difficult and terrible, honestly. It's such important work. But yes, I live in LA and in Hollywood. There's still a lot of struggles around representation on screen. You know, I think for a moment there we were taking steps forward. I feel right now we're taking steps backwards, personally.
Okay.
And I will say the one silver lining is when I moved to LA in 2015, so 10 years ago, it was very difficult for me to pick up the phone and invite over other desis in Hollywood. There was like one or maybe two. Now, I throw an annual Diwali party, it's full of desis from Hollywood. So there's a lot more of us. Unfortunately, it doesn't make it easier for things to get made still. There's still not enough roles for us, but at least there's a community that's being built. That's really cool.
True. No, but how has that changed you as a person as well? Because, you know, you've seen, like, despite being the name that you are, you have your own struggles and representation, like you said, you know, it's not really maybe heading where you like to see it. So how do you deal with that, really?
I think, unfortunately, so for example, my last film doing it was an independently financed feature. I think the way to get our stories made is through things like that, independently financed, be the decision maker, be the producer. That's really great, but that path is also very difficult. You know, when you don't have a big studio backing your projects, it's a lot of putting your own money into things. It's a lot of working with budgets that don't always result in the best vision and product you wanted. And so I think I know in my heart that for the stories that I want to tell to get told, it's probably going to be a lot of independent movies. It's probably going to be a lot of me caving on my vision. It's probably going to be a lot of, this is good enough, but it's not my exact vision. And I'm just hoping to do that enough to get to a place where I can say, no, this is my exact vision. And look, I have a big budget now. I can actually do it. But yeah, unfortunately, it's working our way there.
We're definitely hoping that for you.
Thank you. I'm hoping that for me too. And for my mental health, I'm hoping that as well.
Definitely. No, but I was going to ask you about the film. You know, you've turned actor, producer, writer all together. So how did that happen?
It's been tough, you know. It's really hard to do all three of those things. I love acting. I like writing. Not a fan of producing, I will say. But I think it's important, you know. The difference between working in LA and what I imagine working in India is like is that here when you shoot something, I would assume everyone generally understands the culture and the landscape because they grew up in it. In LA, when you're trying to tell diverse stories, the majority of the crew does not look like me. And so the person who's making the props, the person who's doing the edit doesn't understand the culture that the story is taking place in. And so the result is that the producer, the person who is the diverse person, has to do a lot more work. They have to correct things like that's not the right prop, that's not spelled right, that's actually not the right song reference. There's a lot more education that has to happen, and it puts the burden on the diverse person, honestly. It would be a lot easier if I was on a set with people that like...
Understood.
I say K3G and they're like, we understand what you're talking about. We understand who that person is, you know what I mean? Prime example, when I had a late night show, there was a whole email thread about... producers emailing me, and again, I'm just, you know, supposed to go on set, do the things. It was, can you translate this Hindi word for us? We don't know what this Hindi word means. You know what the word was? Madhuri Dixit. I was like, it's not a word, it's someone's name. I've referenced them many times. A simple Google search will show you that this is someone's, but this is an example of like, there's so much educating to do at all times, which I'm happy to do, but also it just takes away from the time and energy of me doing other things.
Absolutely, yeah. No, but so have you settled into that, you know, role where you're taking on multiple things and that's what your day looks like, all hectic and busy?
Taken on, settled in is a strong word. I think I just have no choice. Honestly, I have no choice, so I do it. Would I love to be in a situation where I can walk on a set and just do the one thing I'm supposed to do? I would love that. But I think with the types of stories I'm trying to tell, that's a dream in the distance, not a dream for right now.
And as a producer, like, how is that going? Because obviously you're spending your own money and you have to do budgets, and that's a whole different role altogether.
I won't lie, I've never done a budget in my life, nor will I ever do a budget. Nobody wants me to do a budget. I'm not good at math. But yes, I put my own money into a lot of things, and I do have to handle logistics of a lot of things. Again, it's not my absolute favorite. I think every artist's dream, or at least my dream, is to be able to really dive into a character and the creative. Like I always say on my most stressful days, I just want to be a creative. I don't want to deal with this stuff of how much this song costs for this movie and this scheduling thing. I just want to be creative. But I think inevitably I have to do a little bit of that stuff. And I think that's normal. Every person's job has stuff they like and stuff they don't like. For me, it's my favorite days are the days that I get to just completely act on set or just completely write. A day in my backyard where I can just write all day long. Those are my favorite days. But every day can't be that. You know?
But all your projects have this common theme, which is cultural representation, breaking stereotypes. So is that something that really close to your heart, that you really want to put out there?
I think even from the very beginning of my career, I've just always felt like laughter is really great and entertainment is really great. But it's the way you also understand yourself. I think through the movies you watch, the TV shows you watch, the podcast, whatever it is, the podcast, the articles, the books you read, I do think that's how we understand the world and how we understand ourselves. And so I think it's important to have conversations embedded into those mediums so that we can all grow and evolve and heal, honestly. And so I think we right now live in a world where there is a lot of noise. There's so many things to watch and read. And if I'm going to make something, I want it to at least make someone think or feel something or reflect on something. That's my personal mandate. I don't just want to make noise for the sake of making noise. I get pitched projects all the time. My company gets pitched projects all the time that are this dating show where these two people date and it's a messy thing. And I'm like, that's really great. And you should go make that if that makes you happy, and people will watch it and they'll be happy, and that's great. For me personally, I'm not the person to make that show, because I want to make things where it's like, oh wow, like she talked about that thing and I thought I was the only one, and I feel seen now, or like she's making me think about a conversation that I've never thought about before. That's what I want to create. That's just my personal mandate.
Oh, that's amazing. And also the late night show that you spoke about, that was again something very different, because we're used to certain hosts, the white man, like you said, said that before. So what was that getting into? Because it's a big challenge for you.
Yeah. Well, what I just spoke about in terms of the Madhuri Dixit translation and having to do a lot of jobs, there's no greater example in my life of that than the late night show. Yeah. I wasn't just the host of that show. I was literally in every part of that show. Yeah. And that's just not a sustainable or realistic thing to do every single day for one person. So although I'm super grateful for it and it's taught me so much, it was a really difficult experience because I'm only one person and I can only do so many things in one day.
True. And also, why did you decide to shoot in India? Because obviously the stars are here, but shooting at their home, the city which is known for entertainment. So was that a decision that, you took for a certain reason?
Yeah, well, I mean, every once in a while the stars are in North America, but not as often as I would like. I wish they were there more often. I think it's... I also think it's the sense that my charity, of course, our mission is universal and global, and of course our work is, but a lot of the grassroots work we do is in India. The culture we're operating in terms of our research and everything we do is in India, and so it's only right to come here to shoot it. And I do think it's important for me especially because, yes, I am of Indian descent. My parents were born in Punjab, sure. I was born in Canada. Right. So if I'm speaking about certain subjects and certain cultural things, I need to be aware that I don't actually know. I feel like it's important for me to go to the country and learn and be schooled and be humbled and get off my high horse a little bit, because being of Indian descent is not the same as being born in India. And I don't want to pretend like I understand the struggles and the solutions and the culture and the lifestyle. I think it's important for me to come here and learn the things I actually talk about. Yeah.
And also having interacted with so many global superstars, including our Bollywood actors, any conversation that really, left an impact on you deeply and maybe even changed you?
That's a really good question. I mean, our last season, I had a really great conversation with Karan Johar, who's on our wall. And I always love talking to him because I think this is something with all celebrities, whether we're talking about in Hollywood or Bollywood. I think celebrities come with their talking points prepared and they know what they're going to say. And my goal is to take all those walls down, to be like, let's have a different type of conversation. Karan is so open as a person that it's really lovely to have a conversation with him, because he doesn't have a filter. For better or for worse, he has no filter. Even when we talk on WhatsApp, he has no filter then either. So I learned a lot from him, and it made an impact on me, because I was like, wow, there's something so beautiful about how liberated this person is, and the fact that they're so comfortable being outspoken and they give themselves permission to say what they're thinking. And I really learned a lot from that, to be like, don't go with the talking points. Say what you're actually feeling, and he's the king of that, I feel.
Yeah, but that's also, again, a responsibility on you to make them comfortable, vulnerable.
I won't lie, I think one of my superpowers is I do think that even on the late night show or even on Shameless, I think I have the ability to make people feel safe and comfortable. And I think it's because I'm so vulnerable. I say a lot of things, and I admit a lot of things, and I talk about my fears a lot. And so I hope that makes the guests feel comfortable as well.
Yeah, and you've had this whole journey. So, anything you'd like to say to little Lily who dreamt of being here where you are today?
Little Lily wouldn't even believe that she's talked to all these people. Little Lily grew up with these people, literally. Karan Johar raised me. I told him this as well. All these people have raised me. It's so meaningful to me every single time I come to any part of India, but especially Mumbai, because again, I was raised by Bollywood. And in my home right now in LA, it has Madhuri Dixit's in my dining room, Rekha's in my, other room. It's just, I really do feel like these people feel like home to me. And so it's really meaningful and special every time I come here.
Yeah, and maybe in the future, do we see you doing a full-on, Bollywood film? Who knows?
I need to make a montage of every time I get asked this question and send it to Karan Johar, because I've already told him. I was like, let's go, baby. What are we waiting for? I would love to be in a Bollywood film. I won't lie, my Hindi's not perfect, but my Punjabi is better. But I feel like I could do like a mix. I could throw some English in there. I think you should talk to your friends and make it happen for me.
Waiting for that.
Let's go. We're all waiting. We're all waiting here. Come on, Bollywood.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.